Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Megan, and today I'm excited just to share with you guys some new things that we are going to be adding to our homeschool in January. Now there's one thing that I'm going to show you that we're not quite going to add in yet in January, and I'll get to that in just a second. It will come like as we do something else first. So that's really big, but you'll see what I mean in just a second. So everything that I'm going to show you today is actually from Veritas Press, which is a classical academy. They actually have like a school, like an actual school academy that kids can go to, but they also have an amazing arsenal of resources for homeschool families, meaning there are online classes through their academy, and there is also self-paced classes that you can take as well. So the classes could either be live, like some really amazing history classes, even math and science, or you could do it as a self-paced class, or you can just purchase curriculum through them. So everything in this video is actually from from Veritas Press. And so I'm just going to share this stuff with you guys, and I'm really excited about it. So the first thing I'm going to share with you guys is that we are actually going to be adding logic into our homeschool. So my oldest is in 7th grade, and this is something that I've always been interested in, but I wanted to know more about how I could add it in effectively into our homeschool. And so after chatting back and forth with someone from Veritas Press, I was sent to these specific resources. So the first one is The Fallacy Detective. And this is a pretty well-known book, especially among classical homeschoolers. I never thought of myself as being in that bracket, but if logic is something that's important for you to instill in your kids, which I'll explain that a little bit more in a second of why it's important, but if logic is something that you include in your homeschool, then you might be a classical homeschooler and not know it. So it's not all about rote memory and things like that that you imagine with like CC and stuff like that. We've never done CC a day in our life, but this is definitely something that I want my kids to be well grounded in, is logic and spotting fallacies. Fallacies are an error in logic, okay? So someone has a mistake in their thinking, and a lot of times whatever they're arguing for has to do with a flaw in their mode of thinking and their logic in that argument. So this specific curriculum, it is very open and go, and this is something that I really kind of want to do with my older two boys, more of like during our morning basket time, and because it is pretty simple. So the first thing it goes over is what is fallacy. And so then it goes into different types of fallacies like red herrings and ad hominem attacks and things like that, making assumptions, all of those kinds of things. And it breaks it down into a really easy, understandable way. And there's like little exercises. It even uses cartoons and things like that. And then it has questions at the end. So it's only like 2 pages long for each thing. And so we are going to start our introduction to logic with this right here. So if you're looking for a way to start introducing logic to your kids, then this seems to be a really great way just to introduce them to it. The next thing I got, which I alluded to previously, is what I am going to have my oldest begin more in depth for logic, and that is this series called The Art of Argument, an introduction to the informal fallacies. So I want to start with this one because it's just a basic introduction to it all, but it is really good. But this right here goes more in depth, and it is done more as like a course with a workbook. So it also offers a teacher's manual, which you don't necessarily have to have, but it is helpful because it does have all the answers and things like that. But then also they offer a DVD. I think this is 5 different DVDs, I believe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What matters is they, as they are working through this, so before they read through the fallacy or assignment for the day, whatever you want to call it, they would watch the DVD. It has some logic teachers, so people who are very, very well versed in teaching logic, introduce the different fallacies, and then it also has students interacting, and it's like humorous, and it just pulls in a lot of great ways of helping them to understand those fallacies better, so that then when you actually go through the information about the fallacies, they have a understanding already because they've seen the visual. So this is something I'm definitely really, really excited about. It is definitely geared more toward middle school and above. This one right here, you could definitely do probably with like a 4th grader, depending on your 4th grader. Definitely a 5th grader probably could tag along. That's why I'm going to have my 2nd oldest tag along with us as well. And we're just going to work our way through this and then move in to the art of argument. So that is 2 of the new things we're going to be introducing, and then I can't wait to show you what else I got. Okay, so as you guys know, I have a kindergartner, and if you watched any of those videos about what I am using with her, I was not sure what I would use next as far as like phonics and moving into like an actual reading program. Now, this is something I was really intrigued by. We have some other reading programs that I've used in the past that have worked well, but this just looked really cool, and I think this is right up her alley. So Veritas Press actually has a reading program called Phonics Museum. Okay, and it's in this huge box, and I'll show you in just a second. But they actually just released the 2nd edition of Phonics Museum, and it is full color, and it looks really awesome. I'm excited about it. So I'm going to open this up and show you what all it comes with. So this is the little museum. Okay, so basically this opens up like this. Okay, but then it also folds flat. And this is the little museum, which I'll explain in just a second, where the pictures hang to remind them of the phonics and letter sounds, things like that, that they're learning. So these are the actual pictures that will hang up. And I haven't opened them yet, but it is actual like famous artwork, and it is the same artwork that is actually on their flashcards that they are using to learn letters as well. So that matches up, and then you just use like a little paper clip that inserts, and they have their little phonics museum, and then they have these little people, and the point is that they play with this, okay? So I'm going out of order. I'm just pulling out what I've got right here, but I'll explain it as I go. But it has these little paper doll pieces so they can play in their museum. So the point is for them to, you know, have fun with it and play with it and things like that. So that is the museum component, okay? But I love how it uses actual like historical artwork. It has the artist and the name of each painting that goes with each card. But also in here there's lots of games. So it comes with the game pieces that you would need. These are the game cards, and it's all labeled for what game it's part of. And there's more. And then I thought this was really cool. So at first, when I opened it up, I was like, what in the world is this? So this is actually an iron-on transfer. And it says to use either a pillowcase or just like a tote bag. And you can actually iron on this transfer, and that is their museum bag. So as they are learning about the different letters and their sounds, they're supposed to go around the house with their little museum bag and gather things that they find around the house that start with the same letter that they're learning. And so it's just another little exercise that they'll do in this program to kind of make it, you know, come alive more for them. So I thought that was super cute. So the next thing in this box are these puzzle pieces that they're going to be using. It's got different digraphs and blends and things like that. And then just the regular letters, which are inside. I haven't opened it yet all the way. But they are going to be using these to build words as they get farther into the program. So I really like this aspect of the program because I already have one child who has dyslexia, and so this kind of goes along with that whole Orton-Gillingham approach of that tactile way of piecing words and different letters together to make sounds and words and things like that. And so I'm excited about that, and I really like that it's puzzle pieces. I think that's really cool, so I think that'll be great. So the other thing that's in the box, and obviously I haven't gotten out the student book or the teacher book yet, which, by the way, there is like a sheet that kind of explains everything in here too. But there are all of these readers, and they're really cute. So there's one called The Alphabet Quest, and it's just a book about different letter sounds, and they're in their little phonics museum. The Bat and the Rat, and so they will read these. They're just very simple. There's not a lot of pictures on the page, which I actually really like early on when they're learning to read, because I don't want them to be distracted by the pictures on the page. And again, it uses the artwork that they are going to be using throughout the program as well. I absolutely love the artwork aspect, and she loves like art and things like that. So that's why I got really excited about this program. So then there is the teacher's manual, and it just literally breaks down everything that they need to do for the day. So it's very simple. Looking at this, they have, like, for example, lesson 23 is a review lesson, and the activity, there is a hearing. So there's all these songs, and the songs are in the back, and what's really neat is there is the sheet music and the words to it, so you'll have that. But you can also go on the Veritas Press website. There, it gives you the link and everything in the book. You can actually go to their website, and it has recorded versions of the songs. And I think, I mean, previously, before I was a stay-at-home mom, I actually was a public school elementary music teacher, and music is an amazing way to really help, especially early on in the learning stages, to help different things stick in their minds. And so having the different songs and things like that, I think, is great. It's also very age appropriate, developmentally appropriate. Then there is some writing activities, which uses the student workbook. So that would be an example of a review lesson. And then they also have each lesson, it tells you what the target is, what the purpose is in learning. And so, like I said, there's the different hearing activities where they're using song and things like that. You can have them play in their little museum. There are seeing activities, which has to do, again, with the worksheets in their workbook right here, where they are identifying the different letters on the page. There's also writing, so there is handwriting that is included in this, and I actually really like the font that they have them learn in. It's more of like a Danelian style font, which I really like, especially if you plan on ever teaching cursive. So anyway, so this is the student workbook. And just as an example, so I just opened to 34. So this would be a really simple student worksheet, which I am totally okay with student worksheets as long as they're not like bogging them down or anything, and it doesn't look like there's ever more than 2 in a lesson. Sometimes there's only one. So it just says circle each picture's beginning letter for this one. Okay, so coming from, we were doing the Get Ready for the Code series from Explode the Code previously. And so coming from that, I think this is going to be a really easy transition for her. And a lot of these beginning lessons, at least the first month's worth, is going to be a lot of review for her. But I think that's going to be really good just to make sure that she's solidified on understanding all her letter sounds. Here's another example of a page. See how simple that is? So it just says draw a line to match the word on the left to the picture on the right. So it's just very, very simple reading. Only 4 words there. I mean, obviously there's other activities in the teacher's manual for that specific lesson, but they're just reading the words and they're drawing it to the picture. And I really like that the pictures are, you're able to tell what the pictures actually are. So, and of course it moves on to blends and things like that. And so I'm really excited about this. I think we're really going to love this. But I will give an update on what we think about Phonics Museum. And obviously she probably won't get through the entire program this spring, but that's okay. We can carry over whatever she doesn't finish, which is perfectly fine because it is more of like those blends and adding S to the end of words and things like that as I'm looking through this. So I'm excited about this. So I wanted to share these new items with you guys just because I always like to keep you all updated in what we're doing in our homeschool. And I would love for you to tell me down in the comments below, what is something new? Maybe you're not adding anything new. That's totally fine. Maybe you're taking something away. So let's focus on what are some changes maybe in the new year that you are making in your homeschool. Maybe you're taking something out that didn't quite work for you. Maybe you're adding something in. This was the plan all along, to add a little something into the spring just to kind of add things. And obviously when I was sharing my daughter's kindergarten curriculum, I hadn't chosen an actual reading program yet at that time, and so now I have. Thank you so much also to Veritas Press just for your time in explaining everything, and also for this awesome curriculum, because these are things that I had been looking at, like eyeing. And so this, I think, is going to be a great addition to our homeschool, and I can't wait to share how it is working for us. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to share down in the comments below, and I'll see you all on future videos. Thanks so much, guys, and have a blessed day.